14 New Jersey correctional officers indicted. A lot of you may have heard about this happening, but it's going on from an incident that occurred at the Edna Mahon Women's Prison in New Jersey back in 2021, and they were finally indicted in 2022. I want to talk about this case, and please keep in mind, I'll use the word allegations quite a lot. You'll wonder why. If you do wonder why, because all parties involved, the 14 officers indicted, are innocent until proven guilty, and they have a right to go to a jury trial and have a jury of their peers decide whether they are guilty or not. They also have the right to take a plea agreement. We're going to talk about what happens in cases like this. Who breaks off from the pack, who talks, who turns state evidence, and so forth. First of all, let's talk about the case itself that happened back in 2021 and is just coming to fruition now in 2022, where recently a grand jury did indict 14 officers for allegations of conspiracy, official misconduct, aggravated assault, and assault. All 14 of these officers now, which include some sergeants, a lieutenant, and an associate director of the prison even involved, as being there and knowing this occurred and allowing these things to occur. These charges face 5 to 10 years in prison, $150,000 fine, or both. And if they are found guilty of assault charges, they will have to do 85% of their sentence before being eligible for parole. This prison, this women's prison, Edna Mahon, was opened in 1913 in New Jersey. About 709 bed facility is going to be closed now. They say it's had a bad history of abuse and rapes and all kinds of things, but this one really put the icing on the cake to force prison officials in New Jersey and to shut this prison down. They do want to rebuild somewhere eventually, and I think that what we have here is another incident. We've seen this happen before. I did a case where we indicted 10 officers and several nurses and others for cover-ups. They're alleged to have conspired to go in and have a forced cell extraction on these inmates after the incidents happened, way after. I don't know how long, okay? But when these incidents occur, it does take time to get a team together. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. It takes time to get a team together, and you have to go through procedures. Some agencies want everything filmed. Don't know if this was filmed in this incident or not. But they're accused of conspiring to do forced cell extractions on inmates who had earlier in the day thrown bodily fluids and different kinds of fluids on officers. Well, that should have been dealt with immediately. I guess the case will bring all that out in court, how long of a period there was between the time the inmates threw the bodily fluids out of their cells at the officers and when the cell extractions took place. Also, remember, if they're in a cell and they're throwing bodily fluids at you, you don't have to go in immediately. You need to call for backup and plan it. Plan of action. Make a plan of action. Now, they're saying this plan of action was not to quell the disturbance or stop the inmates. This was for punishment. Okay, that's what the allegation is. This was planned as punishment at a much later time. I don't know, again, how long of a time there was between. They also say that when they pulled these inmates out of their cells by force, that they were assaulted and beaten. One inmate allegedly was punched 30 times or more. We'll see how this all pans out. In these type of cases, from my experience, on that large case that I did at Charlotte Correctional, where we indicted 10 officers and some other folks, some civilian folks, we noticed that they falsified all their documents, and we proved it. And in these type cases, unfortunately, officers go rogue. And if these officers did, okay, if these officers went rogue, and it is proven that they actually did this, they always get caught first with their paperwork. Why don't people learn? Honesty is the best policy. If you don't do wrong, you don't have to falsify your reports, right? But in these type cases, that's what seems to catch you first. Something's not going to go right in your report and it's caught by somebody higher up. Or the video shows this and your report is so far off from that. And usually, if these type of incidents are planned, as this one is alleged to be, then after it's over, what happens? This group of rogue officers get together and say, this is what we're going to say. This is what we're going to do. And in the case I had, it was the captains, the two captains telling everybody what they're going to write. Sergeants, make sure your people know what to write. And it trickles down, right? Higher ranking, who should be the example of honesty and being ethical, right? No, they're the ones leading the pack. Which brings me to this. If you're one of these officers that was ordered by your sergeant, by the lieutenant in this case, or by the assistant director to be there and do this, well, you're not going to get away with it. You're not going to get off scot-free. But you better start talking and tell the truth. If you want to zip your lip and ride along with the pack and do the old, I'm going to protect my fellow officer, go ahead. But I'm going to tell you, if they get charged successfully and the jury finds you all guilty, you will go down to prison 5 to 10 years with this group, or whatever punishment the judge decides, or whatever punishment the state is looking for. Maybe probation and a $150,000 fine. I don't know what the state attorney wants out of this. But I'm going to tell you, if you're in the back of your mind thinking, I'm just a CO and I was ordered to be there and do this. Well, you're guilty because you participated, but now's your time to become ethically correct. Now, there's going to be some people who say, hell no, you damn snitch, that's not ethically correct being a snitch. Oh, come on. Stop being rogue, folks. Be honest. And you would never see these situations. You don't have to be tough. You don't have to beat them up. Yeah, they did wrong. Those inmates needed to be written up, disciplined, get disciplinary action, and they should have been written up and investigated and the case sent to the state attorney for prosecution. And if your state won't prosecute inmates for throwing bodily fluids on you, then somebody needs to get from the prison administrations up there, need to get with the state attorney's offices, individual state attorney offices, and push for them to file charges. But this is not the way to do it, folks. Now look what happens. You see, as I've been talking, all these faces, these are the 14 staff members. Indicted, going through hell now. Families worried, they're worried. Well, it's an allegation right now. Grand jury indictment does not mean you're guilty. You were indicted. You may be found not guilty, but I'm going to tell you, why put all this pressure on your family? Why put all this pressure on you when all you have to do is the right thing? Okay? Right versus wrong. This is wrong. I'm not going to falsify these documents. I'm not going to beat these inmates. I'm not going to pull them out of their cells for punishment if this is proven what to have been actually done. Okay? Think about it, folks. You know, this type of incident occurs, and then we put panels together, and we teach, and we get stronger on trying to train not to do these type of things, and we teach ethics, and we teach responsibility, and we teach that you're under oath to do the right thing, and nothing happens for a few years, and then again, here comes a new set of sergeants, a new set of lieutenants who back up this same type of stuff again, and we'll read about it again, and you think, come on. I think in the academy, you should take these type of cases and show them in the academy. This is what happened to these 14 officers for doing this. They were indicted, and then whatever happened, which it's not looking good in my opinion. If you want to know my opinion, yes, it's an allegation. Yes, they're innocent until proven guilty, but this isn't looking good. And it didn't turn out good for the folks at Charlotte Correctional either. They all got terminated. They all lost their certifications. 3 of them got felony probation. It's just not a good thing for anybody. For them, for their families, for the agency. Another black eye on corrections, and this time it's up in New Jersey. Come on, man. Get it right. Where's our leaders? Oh, I'm sorry. The leaders were involved in this incident. So I think we're going to start training with the leaders, folks. Okay? Because the officers are going to follow the leaders, right? Thinking they know what's best. They know what's right. So let's try to build leadership that shows proper ethics and the right way to do things, not the wrong way, so that those officers down below who had to go in on this don't get indicted along with these leaders. Thank you, folks. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.